And I didn't skip any track on anybody's album. I just want y'all.
No,
to
I appreciate that
You
too.
can't. You have to.
No, because Doughy automatically assume I'm skipping tracks out here. I'm like, nah. I'm gonna listen to every single track. But nah,
I bagged Doughy trying to skip a track last night.
Last night, he's like, "Didn't you just accuse Tony for that?" And I'm like, and I had to restart it, but then I pushed it 20 seconds forward, and he's like, "You can't skip the intro to the
Yeah, because New York State of Mind has such an iconic fucking intro.
that's what he was skipping.
Nah, he's already listened to the album, so he's like, let me skip to the songs I'm more unfamiliar with. And I'm like, nah. We ain't skipping shit out here. We were listening to the whole fucking thing.
For our, real quick.
Doughy wandered off. Don't do the shout outs.
Real quick. If you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, hit that subscribe button, that like button. Share us with your friends, your family, your auntie, your grandmother. Just do it. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. We love y'all. Also follow my man Retro Fox. He's on Twitter right now. Retro Fox Live. And for crying out loud, comment. Leave us a comment. We're talking albums here. I know we got a Nas fan out there for sure who always comments when we talk about Nas, so drop it on there. Let us know. We spazzing out or whatever. Let us know.
Some would say we don't even know about Nas's new classics.
We don't even know.
We don't
know
even know
about classic hip hop.
Yeah, some would say. But for our second album, came from our boy Doughboy, in case you ain't know boy.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
And the album, I'm going to say it for you guys, hopefully I don't destroy it, is The Deer Hunter, Act 2, The Meaning of All Things Regarding Misleading. Go ahead, Doe. Hit us with some why'd you pick and what really impacted you with this album?
I'm trying to look when this album came up. What is
I want to say it was like
again?
early 2000s, right?
Leading.
Are you asking us the name of your album?
Not the name of the album. I know it was
when it
around
dropped.
2006, 7.
I think it was 2007.
So it was 2007. My brother had the bright idea of just quitting school and getting this stupid Oxford mail-in test that he had all the answers for. So my brother gets this mail-in GED test that he says has all the answers for. He aces all the tests on the GED, gets his GED, and says, "Fuck West Palm Beach. I'm going to New York." So he goes to New York for like 2 years, like almost 2 years. And within that time, I'm getting to know Bucho. I'm getting to know Tony. I'm getting to know all these people and like making friendships and stuff like that. All of a sudden, my brother's like, "I'm coming back to West Palm Beach." And I'm letting everybody know, oh, my brother's going to move back. My brother's going to move back. And my brother returned a very different man. My brother, when he came back, he wasn't rocking the same clothes he was rocking when he lived in Florida. That baggy lifestyle, that lean with it, rock with it, that Harlem Diplomats 5X baggy tees that we would buy were no longer a thing. My brother was wearing some of the tightest, and when I mean tight, I don't mean like cool. I mean like literally the tightest shit I've ever seen in my life. I was like, "Bro, are you goth?" And he's like, "No, I'm not goth." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "This is just New York fashion." And he's like,
he came back with clothes. He was rocking all the tight stuff before it became cool to wear the tight stuff. Everybody was wondering, like, is Mike gay? Like, why is he wearing all this tight clothes? And it's like, nah, man. Like,
The man had his girl's pants on.
He came back with the gauges, the piercings, the fucking tight, the super. We're talking skin tight, skinny jeans. Like,
yeah. So,
Weird.
he comes back. All my friends. What is Tony weird? You fucking love this nigga. You gravitated towards Mike like
Mike was
a
my
bitch.
nigga. Mike
Right?
like, wow, now I'm a bitch. Word.
I'm sorry.
Disrespecting me.
Anyways, my brother was a freakishly good-looking guy. He had no problem getting any girl that he wanted, and especially now that he's different looking than everyone else in the area. Especially then, he caught so much attention. But with that, he met a group of people in New York that put him on to like death metal, rock, punk rock, all these different bands. So me and my brother used to share music with each other. It was something very intimate that I did with my brother. It was movies, video games, music. Those were the things like we really jammed with each other on.
Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What a weird movie.
He loved Vanilla Sky,
Oh,
bro.
he loved that movie. Oh my God. It was sickening. He came back with DVDs. You have to watch this movie, bro. We gotta watch this movie, bro. And he brought this album out. He's like, yo, Doughy. He's like, well, I wasn't even Doughy. Yo, David. He said, yo, you need to check this out. And I'm like, what is this? He's like, it's called The Deer Hunter. I'm like, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, what is this? And he's like, it's like alternative rock, kind of, but it's like, it has like I didn't know then, but it's like a rock opera is what it is. And this opened my mind to all sorts of music. This was like the point in my life where this album got injected into like my current albums of listening, and it really opened up my mind. And I was very closed-minded when I would listen to like MTV and like the Green Day songs would come on. I was like, this is bullshit.
No, and that's real. That's real because I used to feel the same way. But go ahead.
No, it's okay if you want to talk. It's just the way I felt. I was just like, I'm not too into this. But getting my brothers, like, okay, my brother is the seal of approval. He's never really led me astray. So this album came along and it really impacted me in that way where after this I was listening to death metal, rock opera, punk, all sorts of music in that genre just like became available because I had already gotten into this downloading music. And it just was a really positive thing in my life. I'm not really gonna go through the album. There's songs on the album that are really close to me. Like the Death and what is this called? The Death. Let's bring this album up. I'm sorry. I should have it open.
The Death
You
and the
talking about
Birth.
Death and the Birth?
Yeah, The Death and the Birth, The Red Hands, Black Sandy Beaches, Dear Misleading. Like, these are all tracks that I connected with one way or another. Like, there's a lot of themes in this album that are basically it's telling a story from front to back. There's an act before it. But in my opinion, this is like my favorite act of all the acts that they put out. And there's a lot of good themes in there. The Red Hands is about him finding out that the person he fell in love with, I guess, is cheating on him. And
I just want to
Go for it, Tone.
I just want to say, out of that whole album, Red Hands was my favorite track. I was telling Pucho that yesterday, and it's because I can correlate in ways, right? Like I bring myself. That's how I like music, like, and that's how I'll start listening to other stuff that's out of my realm, right? Like I'll find one track, I'll like it. All right, let me dabble in this. Let me dabble in that, and that's how I go through things. Same thing with Linkin Park and My Chemical Romance, all these other weird things that I was never used to. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Take the shit the fuck out of here with this bullshit. But one song caught me. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. They gave me a sample, and I'm that dickhead in Costco going around all the sample tables and getting more and more samples. So that, and that's how I got into the music, like with certain genres and stuff. But yeah, go ahead though. I ain't gonna take no more of your time.
No. I literally, we can just discuss the album. I'm gonna pull up some songs.
I want to say that Doughy picked an interesting album because this album was also special for me. It wouldn't be like my most impactful album, but it was one of the albums that I listened to in the era that I also like expanded my musical interests. Like I grew up just I listened to Dominican music, so like bachata, merengue, and then hip hop. Like those are the things I listen to, right? I grew up in the hood with immigrant family, so it's like those are the musical genres that I was exposed to. And so like I'd put on MTV and be like Green Day, fuck that, Oasis, fuck that, the Beatles, who the fuck cares? Like I just had zero interest. I was like,
Bro,
all
the
this rock
basement
shit.
on BET, I was
Yo.
tuned in though every day,
Yo.
like crack. 106 in Park for some reason, tuned in.
Rap City and all that.
Those are classics.
Miss Sela's World.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
ahead.
so this album was one of the albums that I listened to around that time. Like when Michael came back from New York, I was listening to Circa Survive, Saves the Day, The Deer Hunter, like just even dabbling with like death metal, listening to the Faceless and shit like that. And it was it was just in that era of like me becoming more interested in music. Doughy copped Rock Band, and it was like we were just playing a video game, but inevitably we started to enjoy a lot of these rock songs, and it was a very fun time for me. So.
That's
No,
interesting.
This
Yeah.
pick to me, this was a pure Pucho pick, is what this came off as. It was this rock opera, and it had like these like big like operatic sounds. The dude he's got a range. His pipes are nuts. He
Yes.
gives me a lot of like Muse vibes, and a lot of old Muse vibes or a lot of old Muse albums are very like that same kind of way. They're operatic. He shows
Yes.
off like his voice, and this was interesting. I didn't know what to expect when I hit play on this album, but it was definitely not this when it was a Doughy pick that I was listening to.
No, yeah, I felt the
and
same.
And I'm gonna jump in on here too and say this because Doe, I didn't expect to have this coming from you, but I don't mean that in any disrespect whatsoever. But
No,
this
it's
is
cool.
also something that I've never heard myself, and actually this goes for all four of your albums here. So like this one in particular, I agree with Mateo. Like when I turned this on, because I was listening to this on the car ride, that soundstage, that opera soundstage was killer. That's what took me at first. And then like his vocal and his range and like the falsettos and things like that he's doing along with this, it was just something that I've never heard, but it was so well arranged for an alternative rock album because this came out in what, 2007?
yeah.
Yeah, so this is about the time I'm getting out of high school, and I am listening to some different stuff, but at the same time, I've never heard nothing like this. And like, as you continue to listen to some of the albums, Evicted's probably my favorite track
Yes.
on this overall album.
I have been evicted.
Dude, that is my jam, and it's the build up in that piano riff that he has at the beginning of it is just awesome. But like, I think what stood out to me the most on this is that the album is so emotional that you can go on the
Yes.
roller coaster with this individual. And this is only Act 2, and I see there's like what, 5 of them.
Yes, there's a lot.
Yeah. But overall, like the music motifs, like I don't know how many individuals or if this is like a full band or not, but like overall the musical arrangement, the motifs, and just how the way the emotion that they're able to get from these specific instruments to really just put their imagery on the forefront is amazing. And I can definitely see why this is impactful for you because it sounds like your brother was definitely ahead of the wave at the time.
Yes.
And even though I personally never got to meet him, you know, I think that this was a very good pick, and you should be very happy that you got to experience something like this. This is really dope because otherwise I would have never heard this.
Yeah, same with me. Like, I was asking myself when I texted you guys in the messenger yesterday, I was like, yo, I want to know how these albums you guys pick impact yourself. And honestly, I didn't know that Michael put you onto this. That's why
Yeah.
it clicks to me like this is super sentimental. This is something that you remember and everything. Your brother just came back, so like I can see why. Because it threw me for a loop. I'm like, Deer Hunter cock. What is this shit? I don't know what this shit is.
That was also the missing piece for me. Like I was like, okay, this is a cool album. This is the Wild album. I'm missing that piece. Like why this is Doughy's pick. Yeah. And your story about your brother makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
Because it's also funny because the reason why I started listening to the like rock and all this shit is because of my mother. She listened to Creed.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So she listened to Creed. I'm like, what is this? And there was always a song that she'll cry to that he'll play. And I just, for some reason, I can never forget Creed, like my whole life. So from Creed, it went into Godsmack. From Godsmack, Linkin Park, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Chemical Romance. Mike got me into Disturbed. And like the screamos and shit, like, bro, I was never into none of these screamo shit and let the bodies hit the floor and all this music. Like Mike also kind of infested me with, like it was just weird. Like I never would put any of this shit on, but you know, kind of find out I like Linkin Park. Linkin Park's one of my favorite bands. Like, so it's just like all this music that before I would just throw that shit to the side. It's like, damn, nah, you kind of open it and then. Not him listening to Deer Hunter and I like Red Hands. I'll go back and listen to it again and try to find more relatable stuff that I would like and it'll open it up. So yeah, big shout out to this album.
I'll also say this. The first time I listened to the album, I absolutely hated it. And like absolutely. I was like, especially on the first album, it's just way too many pause. It's like pa pa pa. He's just hitting pause everywhere, and I'm like, there's too many things. I'm like, damn. I pull up to Doughy's crib, and I'm like, damn, you listen to this pa pa shit again? Like, and some of this music is not to say that like, not to disrespect any type of other music, but some music is challenging. Like they're like, you know, you put on a poppy song and it's designed, it's architected so that you can like it instantly. Like the beat is snappy, the lines are probably simple, the lyric is the chorus is catchy, and it's just designed for you to enjoy it immediately. These other genres of music that they're trying to step out of you know, whatever lane pop music's supposed to be, right? You know, sometimes you don't like it right away. Sometimes it don't click right away. Even my all-time favorite band, Coheed, I did not like them when I first listened to them for similar reasons. It was just, it was too different for me at the time. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If you enjoyed any of it, I implore you to kind of go back and re-listen to things every now and again, and I'm sure it'll click a little different. But
this gave me big Proto Men vibes. Which the Proto Men I had never listened to until talking to Booch. I just stumbled upon them on Spotify one day. They were one of the next recommended songs on one of my playlists. I was like, you know what, fuck it. Booch is always talking about how much he loves the Proto Men. Let me check this shit out. And I got a lot of Proto Men vibes from this in a good way, the best way. Like they're rock operas. They're experiences that you're supposed to think about them and picture them in your head. I'm curious if when they perform, if there's like a visual aspect to it too, besides them just like playing instruments or not.
That's what I look forward to. Like if the band live is just as awesome as the album is, that's a huge plus for me.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely as good live, but they don't have. The Proto Men is different. They're really trying to put on like half a play. Like they're acting things out. They got costumes on.
That's
they're painting their faces.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's crazy. Like they're really trying to sell the idea. Like, yo, these are concept albums, and we're fully embracing this shit. Like this album is all of these Deer Hunter albums are concept albums too. There's a whole story behind it about a character named The Boy, or whatever. Yeah. And to Tony's comment about Red Hands, that song's about him finding out that the woman he's in love with is a prostitute and like she's fucking other dudes and shit. And so, you know, listening to the song in that light, the ending where he's screaming so much, it's like he's like conflicted on still wanting to be with this woman and be in love with her, but he's so hurt. And he said a bunch of hurtful things to her that he kind of wants to take that back, but he kind of wants to get revenge on her. And he kind of ruined the relationship in a sense. Mind you, she's a prostitute. I'm not sure if it's clear if that was discussed. You know what I'm saying? But like,
That is a bombshell to drop on someone.
Yeah.
well, no, he bagged her, right? Like he walks in and catches her fucking a dude, like, so.
Dude, Pucho is like the Morgan Freeman of music right now because I didn't even pick that up. I'm sitting here amazed and awe, like, damn, how could I miss that?
Nah, when I like things hard. So like I get obsessed. I start reading everything about it. And my favorite bands and musicians is I love concept-based things. Like now it's tough for me when I just listen to regular songs. It's like, oh, this is just a song. There's not much deeper to it, and it's something I gotta like stop myself from like disliking, because everything don't gotta be a concept. It'll actually be kind of exhausting, like if everything needed to be a concept that you need to understand. But for me, I love it because it's like there's always this extra element to every single song. Every single line could be dissected now, and it's like it's fun for me. Is what I like about
This is why Pucho is disappointed in the MCU. Because he wants more. He wants more than just the. It's like a concept, but it's not. It's kind of right. Like it's definitely made for like mass consumption.
The MCU's pop music, man. I don't like it. And I want it to be deep, but it ain't.
But no, yeah, that I would give that album 7.58 out of 10.
Damn, that's impressive. Tony hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I listened to this Deer Hunter dick, and I only liked Red Hands." I was like, oh, damn. I'm like, I love this album. So I'm like, he must hate this shit. Now it gets a 7.5. That's crazy.
Yeah, I went back to listen. Like I told you, if I like one song out of the album, I'll go back and dig and dabble, as they say, into the things. And there's a couple other good ones I like. But no, yeah.
I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. And I'm really giving it a 4 out of 5 because of its artistic imagery that it has. Like that really makes up for the whole album. But I feel like I need to listen to Act 1 to kind of understand where Act 2 is going. Maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, one playthrough is not enough, and I feel like I only got through a 1.5. So, but still, 4 out of 5. I think it translates very well. So yeah,
I need to sit back down with this one with like a lyric sheet open and like just actively listening to it and looking at the lyrics. And I feel like I didn't dive into this one deep enough. But what I listened to, because I listened to it twice, I liked.
Yeah.
And that's why I threw those Reddit threads up there for the Coheed album and the Deer Hunter album, is because like on its own, these albums are totally fine. You can like them, they're good, the music's good. But then when you dive into the story behind all the lyrics and stuff, it just adds, for me, it adds so much more. Like it makes it so much more enjoyable to be like, like I'm understanding a whole story and enjoying music and enjoying the metaphors and the lyrics, and like I'm just getting an extra element out of the music that you don't typically get. So
yeah.
But not that I expected anybody to read all that shit. It's too much. But
was a lot.
again, I threw it there in case anybody wanted it, you know?
Yeah. But Doe, we definitely added this to the Apple Music library, so thank you very much.
Of course, man. I really, I'm glad that you guys were able to listen to this because it's a near and dear one for me.
And I didn't skip any track on anybody's album. I just want y'all
No,
to
I appreciate that
You
too.
can't. You have to.
No, because Doughy automatically assume I'm skipping tracks out here. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna listen to every single track. But nah,
I bagged Doughy trying to skip a track last night.
Last night, he's like, "Didn't you just accuse Tony for that?" And I'm like, and I had to restart it, but then I pushed it 20 seconds forward, and he's like, "You can't skip the intro to the
Because New York State of Mind has such an iconic fucking intro.
that's what he was skipping.
Nah, he's already listened to the album, so he's like, let me skip to the songs I'm more unfamiliar with. And I'm like, nah. We ain't skipping shit out here. We were
don't
listening to the whole
skip
fucking
shit.
thing.
Entire
He put
thing.
New York State of Mind and he skipped 20 seconds in. I'm like, what? You missed the intro. It's so crack. Like I love that, like the story, like the some of the lore behind that one particular song. Not to go back to the previous topic, but the beat is not a typical hip hop beat. There's not a strong drum or nothing like that. It's just like a piano. Nas didn't know, like, what's the structure of this beat? Like, where do I start rapping? You could hear, he asks, yo, how do I start this shit? And I think Premier tells him, like, now, like start now, and then Nas just starts spitting, and it's such a dope thing. It's like you can't skip that. That's like iconic right there. Like,
Well, definitely. Oh, what did you rate it? You didn't give it a rate, Pooch.
no, it's just thumbs up. I love this album.
Yeah, that's
bro.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
My
I told
bad.
you.
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
yeah. You can just assume my rating. All these albums are good. They're all. I didn't dislike listening to anything that anyone suggested. These are all good. I'm glad to have experienced these or re-experienced these, whatever the case may be.
All right.